friends and everybody. Welcome to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. My name is Dixon, and I'm going to say in bilingual, try to translate, so please be patient with me. We're here today. We have all of our esteemed speakers here today to celebrate the success of the 2025 Year of the Snake Lunar New Year activities. It has been an incredible season to really bring the city back to life with all the activities that was kind of coincidentally happened on the same weekend. Thank you so much all for coming, and thank you for all media friends for coming. Without further ado, let's get started. 咁各位媒體嘅朋友早晨，咁我叫 Dixon，咁好多謝今日大家嚟到呢個舊金山中華總商會咧，我哋有好多位非常之重要嘅嘉賓，就去慶祝2025年蛇年嘅農曆新年嘅好多唔同嘅節目咧，都係令到三藩市非常之熱鬧嘅過去呢幾個禮拜。咁所以咧我哋今日邀請到好多嘅嘉賓咧，就係去回顧翻一下今年嘅呢啲唔同嘅農曆新年活動，為我哋三藩市帶嚟咗乜嘢嘅影響嘅。The first speaker, it is my honor to introduce someone who has been at the forefront of supporting and uplifting our community, President Daniel Lurie of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. He has played a crucial role in organizing this year's Lunar New Year activity celebrations and ensuring our traditions will continue to thrive. So please join me to welcome Mr. Daniel Lurie to say a couple words. 咁我哋有請中華總商會嘅主席劉運芳先生係同大家講幾句説話嘅。
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm happy to announce that this year Lunar New Year Parade and festivity was a resounding success. Anchored by Mayor Lurie inaugurations in Chinatown, it created so much energy and momentum that carry into the flower fair, where we saw so many people pack the street for one weekend from 10 to 5. This year we also increased our vendor. We also created a new cultural block where we showcase 8 pandas that are going to be displayed around the city. Then follow up on that, we also had the Lunar New Year Day celebration, which also was a very festive and very the spirit in Chinatown that it was just magical. And then then everything culminated in the parade and the street fair. We had over 120 vendors, the parade, as we all saw, was one of the most successful parade that we had in a while. In the partnership with ABC, we saw that was the #1 show of that day. It increased viewership by 27%. It was broadcast not just on ABC 7 logo, but also in over 10 other markets across the country, Hulu and also DC Plus. So this just let you know, and we also have close to 1,000 volunteers. Many of them are high schoolers or also college students. The parade it's very significant for this community in Chinatown because it's a place for us to. It's not only an economic driver for Chinatown and the surrounding neighborhood, but there's also a training ground for many volunteers for us. So I am very happy that I am here today to say thank you to the mayor for all the work that you've done to support our parade and our festivities. Right, your continued investment in the parade will be very, very significant, not just in the parade but also our infrastructure. Right, like the Portman Square, I know that you are very behind in supporting us to make the Portman Square a true plaza, something that we can be proud of, something that's going to be iconic. So with all that, I want to say thank you everyone for coming. We had a wonderful year this year, and we look forward to another beautiful year of the snake.
Thank you, President Liu. Our next speaker needs no introductions. Since taking office, he's been a steadfast advocate for our city and make sure all our communities stay very vibrant. And his leadership and commitment to cultural heritage has been very strong in supporting events like our Lunar New Year, all our Lunar New Year activities. Please give a warm welcome to Mayor Daniel Lurie.
Thank you. Donald, thank you very much. And to everybody up on this stage, thank you. We're here to celebrate the remarkable success of the Lunar New Year Parade and NBA All-Star Weekend. The eyes of the world were on San Francisco, and we rose to the occasion like we always do. Just like any victory made possible by teamwork, I want to thank all the department leaders and city workers who came together to make this happen. Over the Lunar New Year weekend, I witnessed collaboration firsthand. On Saturday, the day of the parade, I visited the Department of Emergency Management's Emergency Operations Center. The coordination and focus were exactly what we expect and appreciate from our teams. On Sunday, ahead of the NBA All-Star Game, I also spent time at SFPD's Command Center out in Potrero. What struck me most at those meetings was how seamlessly the teams worked together to make sure the city was ready for any situation. Let me tell you, there's an incredible amount of hard work going on behind the scenes to keep our city safe. Residents and visitors don't always see that work, but they can feel it. They can feel it when they ride Muni with their family to the parade without worrying. They can feel it when they shop at the pop-ups that were up and down Powell Street. And they can feel it when they enjoy the walk from their hotel to dinner. Every single time they travel down a clean and welcoming street and feel safe, our city workers are making a difference. And we are starting to see vast improvement on that front. The stats from the weekend also tell a story of success. The Lunar New Year Parade and NBA All-Star festivities brought hundreds of thousands of visitors to our city and spurred hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity. Thanks to the increased law enforcement and strong collaboration across public safety agencies, we also saw a significant drop in crime. That weekend, crime was down 30% compared to last year's Lunar New Year Parade weekend. In fact, this was the safest Lunar New Year weekend since 2017. Muni Metro saw its busiest weekend since the start of the pandemic. The Department of Public Works had dozens of workers out until midnight cleaning the streets after the parade. Our firefighters were out all weekend, responding to hundreds of calls every day. And our 911 operators answered 84% of the calls in 15 seconds or less, even with hundreds of thousands of visitors in town. This success is a direct result of the surge in resources and our ongoing commitment to making San Francisco a safe and clean place for residents and visitors alike. Over the weekend, DEM activated 100 staff from the city, state, and federal agencies, as well as the private sector and all of our partners. All SFPD officers, all of them, were on duty, making the department effectively fully staffed despite our persistent officer shortages. It's clear when law enforcement is fully staffed and resourced, we get results. So far this year, crime is down overall, and my administration is committed to sustaining that trend. We're going to build on this momentum, and I want to announce also something that the chief will talk about in a moment, that we had a multi-agency operation in Jefferson Square Park last night, targeting the drug market. Dozens of arrests were made. More information is coming. But I have to tell you, and this is a message that I want everybody in the city to hear, if you are selling drugs in this city, we are coming after you. We are committed to fully staffing our police department, our sheriff's department, our 911 dispatch office, so we can keep our streets safe and clean, not just for an incredible event like the Lunar New Year Parade weekend or an NBA All-Star game, but to make sure that our elders here in Chinatown feel safe. Our kids getting on the bus at 16th and Mission feel safe every morning. The conditions are not where we need them to be, but last weekend proved that we are capable of delivering for the people of San Francisco, and you are going to see more of that in the weeks and months ahead. I want to also end with this. Ahead of the Lunar New Year weekend, we announced a permanent SFPD Hospitality Zone Task Force that is now keeping our downtown economic core safe 365 days a year. We are leveraging every tool we have, including that fentanyl state of emergency ordinance, to expedite the hiring process and get more public safety and behavioral health professionals on the streets more quickly. The results we saw last weekend over the Lunar New Year parade and All-Star weekend are the proof that we know that we can achieve results. I want to thank Police Chief Bill Scott. I want to thank Fire Chief Dean Crispin. I want to thank DEM Director Mary Ellen Carroll, DPW Director Carla Short, SFMTA Director Julie Kirschbaum, and you, Brent, thank you for being on call last weekend, for executing a successful and coordinated strategy to keep San Francisco prepared and safe. And finally, I want to thank all of our police officers, fighters, our sheriff's deputies, Muni drivers, DPW staff, first responders, and all of our city workers for their tireless work to make these events a success. My administration is committed to building on this progress. San Francisco's comeback is just getting started.
Thank you, Mayor Larry. 唔該晒市長啦。Next we'll have our next speaker. The success of the Lunar New Year parade is really the hard work of all these individuals here and the dedication of the team behind it. And leading the charge of the parade is a man who has worked tirelessly to continue our tradition of the parade and a lot of the New Year festivities. So if I can introduce our next speaker, Mr. Tony Lau, who's the director of the Lunar New Year Parade. 我哋下一位嘅有請呢個劉家聰係呢個新春大運行嘅總指揮㗎。
Thank you, Dixon. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mayor Lurie. Good morning, President Donald. Good morning, everybody. I just want to say thank you for all the support that you guys giving us. This was a very successful event in terms of the Chinese New Year celebration. We have our Chinese New Year parade, we have our festival, Chinese New Year street fair. We also have our basketball jamboree, and we are having our YMCA runs coming over for this weekend. So we cannot do it without all the support from different city agency, different leadership, upper management from our city. So I really appreciate it. Couple things I want to share with you guys is that for the parade itself, this year we have actually we have more than 1,250 volunteers. It's truly a community event. This is an event for our community. And of course, we have approximately 134 units with about 5,000 participants all over the Bay Area. We have different marching band. We have a total of 21 floats. And of course, with the help, with the partnership with ABC7, we were live in San Francisco, LA, Fresno, Chicago, Houston, Philadelphia, and New York. We actually got a call from New York from one of the potential vendors that wanted to talk to us for 2026 already. So I really want to say thank you for everyone. You guys support. That's why we have such a successful event. And I think this number may be a little bit more understandable for our sponsor. We have a total of 25 million total minutes watched nationwide around the whole nation. So that's a huge number. So I just want to say once again, thank you everybody. I think this is a great success event. Just to let you guys know, we already start planning for 2026 already. We had our first meeting on Monday with the team. We're already planning for 2026. So with everybody's support, I think 2026 is going to be another wonderful year. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Lau. Next, I wanted to bring up the next speaker because our local business is at the heart of our community, and today we will get to hear from incredible merchants who play a vital role in making this celebration successful. So I want to introduce Chelsea Hung, who is the owner of RNG Lounge, who is celebrating the 40th anniversary in March. And also a long-time legacy business in the city. So please welcome Chelsea. 我哋有請嶺南小館嘅代表洪可慈小姐。
Good morning, everyone. First, I just want to extend my gratitude to Mayor Lurie for your unwavering support for the Chinese New Year Parade, Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and your dedication to the Chinatown community. Also, thank you to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce for hosting such incredible events during the month of January and February, including all the multiple fairs, the Miss Chinatown Parade, the Miss Chinatown USA pageant, and the Chinese New Year Parade. These events are not just traditions, they're the heartbeat of this community. For many Chinatown merchants, including us at R&G Lounge, Chinese New Year is the busiest and most important time of the year for us. We rely heavily on these festivities. The parade and the surrounding festivities bring in numerous tourists, locals, and visitors alike, and creating an incredible energy throughout the neighborhood and a positive impact for the businesses. Those past weeks, we were fully booked, and over the parade weekend, we hosted numerous events for guests who came especially for the parade and these festivities. It was amazing to see the city alive and these businesses thrive again. This is what community looks like. People coming together to celebrate culture and supporting small businesses. Thank you to our city leaders, our city workers, the SFPD, the fire department, event organizers, especially Tony, and the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and everyone who showed up to support Chinatown. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Next, I want to introduce our next three speakers who, as Mayor Lurie has spoken, their teams have worked tirelessly during those weekends and, in fact, every single day to keeping our city safe and organized and making our community feels like San Francisco is a great place to live. So I want to introduce SFBD Chief William Scott, our Fire Chief, SFFD Fire Chief Crispin, and also the Chief of Public Safety Paul Yap。我哋而家有請首先有請我哋三藩市嘅警察局局長施甲係同大家講幾句説話嘅。
Thank you and good morning. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to our Mayor Lurie. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your energy. We have some momentum in this city, and Mayor Lurie has hit the ground running. I also want to say thanks to our Chief of Public Safety, Paul Yep, because the structure that Mayor Lurie has put in place instantly has caused better coordination between the public safety departments, and that's due to Chief Yep and his expertise, his ability to get things done, and his ability to coordinate. So thank you for your help and your support. I just want to talk a little bit about, also, let me say thanks to Daniel Lurie and the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Daniel Lurie is all about community. The Chamber of Commerce is all about community. And we have to work together to make things work in this city, and we have done just that. Our public safety partners, our mayor, our policy chief of public safety, we're all working together. And that is why we are getting the results that we are getting. I want to talk a little bit about, in detail, some of what Mayor Lurie said about crime. That is no small thing. We had the lowest crime that we've had since 2017. We've gone almost 2 months under Mayor Lurie's administration, and we had one homicide, and that was before he actually was sworn in. That was 20 minutes after midnight. We've had one homicide for the entire year. And we know that we have work to do. We know that we have challenges in this city that we believe that we will be able to tackle and keep that momentum going forward. But it starts with our officers, and the commitment to fully staff this police department will make a difference. It will allow us to sustain this work. We have dismantled the drug market, but we still have problems. Last night's arrest at Jefferson Square Park, we arrested 84 people. 84 people. And there's been this trend that we see where we go into an area, we clean it up, we stabilize it, and then a lot of the people that are causing problems and havoc, particularly as it relates to the drug market, go to another neighborhood. That day is over. And we know it's going to take time, but you will see these types of operations when people displace from an area that we go in and try to clean up and they go to another community. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see these types of operations. So we are committed to doing just that. And it was a multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency collaboration. We had our SFPD officers and numbers. We had our Sheriff's Department, and I'd like to thank Sheriff Paul Miyamoto for that. We had our Rec and Park Rangers. We had a multitude of people out there, all with the same single purpose, and that is to make these communities safer and stop this whack-a-mole thing that we're seeing when drug dealers and users go from one community to the next when they get pressure. This pressure will not stop. This pressure will not stop. So hear that message loudly and clearly. I'd like to thank my partner in public safety, Chief Crispin, who we'll hear from in a second. And I'd like to finish with this. We know that our city has the momentum. Commissioner Silver from the NBA during the NBA All-Star Week said, and I quote him, in saying that he is seeing a resurgence in this city. Energy like he has not seen before. That is where we are. But it's only going to get better from here because we are committed to making this city the safest city in America. And with that, turn it back over to Chief Crispin.
我哋跟住有請三藩市消防局局長Chief Crispin克里斯吧。
Good morning, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to thank our public safety team, starting with Mayor Lurie and the other members. We have a new administration in the fire department, and it was very welcoming, very amazing welcome that we received from the other members of the public safety team. And it was very clear to me from the first several meetings that we had that we were going to be successful over those weekend's events. And the reason was that nobody was putting their department ahead of another department as far as importance. Everybody only had one goal in mind, and that was to keep the public safe. There were no egos involved. Everybody worked really well together, collaboratively. So thank you, everybody, for the welcome that you have given us and working with us on the outset of our administration. It's been very nice. I'd also like to thank the members of our department that stepped up during these events, specifically Fire Marshal Chad Law next to me. This was a big ask for our fire prevention staff. We asked them to staff several different locations, including Chase, including Moscone, including the Chinese New Year route, and they did an amazing job of stepping up and making sure that there were no significant incidents and they were able to prevent anything from happening. I'd also like to thank Chief Erica Brown, our Chief of Homeland Security, who also did an amazing job of staffing up our important areas and making sure that we staffed all the important operating centers that were set up for all of these events. I think I'd be remiss without thanking the public. I think the public actually really stepped up to the plate, and that speaks to the energy and positive vibes that we're having in this city. People did not come to our town during these events to cause any trouble. I feel like people came here to celebrate these events, show their pride in the Bay Area and San Francisco, and that was evident by the statistics. We only had 5 medical events on the parade route. That's significantly fewer than we've had in the past, and I think that's a direct result of citizens buying into the positive energy that we have in this city and understanding that they are part of the solution as well. We didn't have any major car accidents because people took public transportation. So all the messaging that we sent out to the public to say, hey, participate with us and ensure that everybody's safe was received. And I think that's a testament to the leadership of this group in front of you, and specifically Mayor Lurie. And thank you again to Director Yep. You've been a great inspiration for all of us moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you to both Chief. Thank you, Director Yep. Last but not least, our next speaker will be joined by someone who is a strong advocate for our local neighborhood and businesses. I'd like to introduce District 3 Supervisor Danny Sauter. 我哋跟住最後一位嘉賓有請第3區市參事李以德嘅。
Thank you, Dixon. Good morning, everyone. I'm Danny Sauter, your District 3 Supervisor. That means I have the absolute honor and privilege of representing Chinatown and City Hall, and also the other incredible neighborhood, Union Square, where this parade wound through a few weeks ago. And I'm really glad that we're here this morning to reflect on the success of this incredible event. This is one of those things that we should never take for granted. It is a truly and only in San Francisco event. And I gotta say, I had family visit. My 8-year-old niece was in the parade with me, and her mind was blown. And we delivered that same experience for hundreds of thousands of people. And Tony, I'm looking at you because it's your first year as the director, but no one would know that because you delivered an incredible event. I'm already looking forward to next year. I know you're going to do it bigger and better. And it is our job, all of us up here on stage in the city, to make sure that the excitement, the vibrancy, the joy that we felt the other week, that we continue to deliver that to the residents and visitors of San Francisco. And we're going to do that in small bits and pieces every single weekend throughout this year. And I look forward to working with all of the city to continue to do that. I thank everyone for being here this morning. I want to thank Mayor Lurie for your leadership. You've invested a lot into this community. You've invested a lot into Chinatown, and it's showing success already. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do we have, that concludes our speakers for this morning. Does any of our press and media friends have any questions?
Hi, Sydney Johnson with KQED. I have a question for the chief for the operation last night. Can you give more details about, what folks were arrested for? Were these mostly drug users, mostly drug dealers? For users, are they potentially going to be released pretty soon? Just any more context you can share about the operation specifically.
Yeah, so of course with that many arrests, we're still processing reports and all that, so I'll have more details later today, but principally what is happening is we'll go into a community because of the rampant drug use or drug sales, and we will put pressure on those drug dealers. We'll arrest drug dealers, and we've been arresting people. We have service providers to give services, and when that pressure becomes intense enough, what we oftentimes see is those groups will go to the next block or the next neighborhood, and so we call that displacement. A lot of, we believe, a lot of the people that have started to hang out in Jefferson Square Park that were selling drugs and doing drugs were a result of pressure from other neighborhoods, Tenderloin, Soma, and it just became untenable. So a lot of what we see and what we were there for was drug-related crimes. I don't have all the charges right now. We'll have a more complete breakdown later today. I'm sure some people will be released because some of the crimes are misdemeanors and some people will remain in custody. But the bottom line to this is we're going to take action. And it's not like we haven't taken action, but displacement is a huge problem. We see it in news stories. We hear it all the time. And what we don't want to do is get people comfortable with, hey, if we put pressure on this block, we'll just go to the next block and nobody's going to bother us. That's not going to happen. We are going to do our jobs. We're going to make sure that we don't take a problem from one neighborhood and plant it in another neighborhood. So I know that's a long answer to your question. We'll have more details about all the charges later today, but 84 people were arrested. Some will remain in custody. Some probably will be released per law. And we'll just keep the pressure up to make sure we clean up our city.
Just a quick follow-up to that. There's been, talk, as you're mentioning, that some of the enforcement pressure around 6th Street, that has led to some of that displacement. Is the police department using that triage center for any processing yet or detainment, some of those stated goals for that new triage center?
It, not as much processing as we hope to one day have, but what it has been able to accomplish is we have hundreds of people that go to that triage center every day. They get connected to services, those that want to get connected to service. For some people, it's just a respite off of the sidewalks. And that is part of what this is. We don't, when you go down 6th Street or any street in San Francisco that's like that, and you see people on the sidewalks that are struggling from addiction and all that, part of this is where can they be that's a safe place that's not the sidewalk. If they're committing a crime, of course, we need to take enforcement action, but some people just need help, and those services are there. So, from the first day, people were a little bit skeptical because they didn't know what it's about. You won't go there to get arrested. Now, if officers use it as a process center, those crimes are happening on the streets, and we go there for an efficiency perspective. But we also have an array of city services and service providers that are there. And people are starting to figure that out. Some people just go to get a cup of coffee and get off the sidewalks. Other people are going there like Journey Home to get a connection back to where their home support system is. So, we're gonna make adjustments with this as we need to, but it's something different, it's something new, and we hope that it's going to help our community.
But police are not so far using it for processing or.
It's been very limited. But that is a part of the goal. It's a process. As we get staffed up, for instance, we need partnership from our sheriff's office. They are staffing up just like we are. We've increased our deployment on 6th Street and Mission, that corridor, and the sheriffs have as well. So we anticipate that will lead to processing just from a sake of efficiency. So officers can take them there. The transport vans can then take them if they have to go to county jail, and the officers go back to the field. So that's the efficiency that we want to realize. But that's a work in progress.
Thank you so much, Chief Scott. That's all the time we have for everybody today. So thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate all of you here. Yes.